Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode from TCG 353. This is Jamie and today we're playing Green Mihawk into some of the stronger decks in the meta to see how Resthawk can match up against him. So without further ado, if you like this content, leave a like. If you want to keep on watching, subscribe, and let's talk about our first match up against Red Blue Ace. We go first and we search out a 5-cost Tashigi, which is a very strong card for Mihawk, of course. Our opponent searches and attaches 1 Dawn to activate their leader ability. We, on turn 2, treat on turn, play out a Perona to search. There is a temptation from us, of course, to swing 8, which, as we know, equal numbers are much better into Ace because their leader effect, but our opponent chooses to take the first life. The reason that they do this is to draw 2 cards, and of course they have a Marco as well, so they are probably thinking to themselves that they want to spend the first few turns to gain card advantage. Now our opponent takes the block there and draws 2 cards with Marco, but does not have a Dawn attached for leader ability, and they on their turn now bottom deck a Perona, freeze a Tashigi and swing 6 into it, which we will take. It is now on turn 4 and we don't have much potential in our turn at the moment. Most of the cards in our hand are quite big and we were hoping to put pressure onto our opponent's life with the Tashigi this turn, but unfortunately we will not be lucky enough to do so, so we are just going to swing big into their leader. And we're talking big numbers here. Every single bit of Dawn we have, we will attach. We won't have Dawn up for any events, which is slightly unfortunate, but we do have a very strong late game, as we mentioned earlier, so we will leave that up. Our opponent swings 8 into her Tashigi, another 8 into her Tashigi, and chooses not to use the character rush, which is probably smart because they would be wondering or be afraid of the mini Supernova event and the mini Luna. So rather than freezing with Luna, we use the Mihawk effect and rest the Mihawk to say to their Zoro that they cannot swing next turn. Zoro is a stronger stat line, that is why we didn't allow the Zoro to rest, and we passed turn with 3 Dawn up. We could have attached 3 to our leader and swung 8, but there was nothing to be gained from that. We'd rather have events in hand to be defensive. Our hand currently has no counter other than events, so we do need to keep it up. Granted, we do have the Mihawk ability, which may come in use, and here we are considering what to trash. I don't think we're going to be using Shanks. And once we're able to string down these long Beppos, we'll be freezing 2 bodies per turn, which is quite good value actually. There isn't much of a temptation to go and use the 6 cost and bounce the Tashigi. I think it's best to just use this Lawton Beppo on curve to freeze their new gate and put pressure onto their leader. So we swing 8 into them. Our opponent probably has 13 cards in hand by the look of it. And they give us leader ability at 1k, and we swing 10 with the Mihawk and do not allow the Zoro to swing next turn. So their new gate has been frozen and is turned sideways, and their Zoro can't swing, so they only have 2 swings available to them. We are 3k leader and we have 10k counter in hand. Our opponent uses another Boa Hancock and freezes our Long Beppo, which is a strong turn from them. We use the Mihawk ability, or rather we consider using it to counter out here. Instead we use the effect from the 3-cost Supernova event, and we take the A swing. The reason we did that there is because we were anticipating a smaller swing from Ace, but they went all in, so there wasn't much to be done there. We play out a long Beppo on curve, of course we're going to do that, it is their strongest turn by far, and we are now a 7k leader with 2 Dawn standing, attach 1 Dawn to our leader to make that 8k swing, and we will swing our Mihawk as well into either the Boa or their leader. We choose the leader, and our opponent only has 3 swings available to the next turn. We have 3 6k counter and 8k with Mihawk ability, and we're 7k. So the way they'd have to split would probably be something like 9, 10 and 12. And we can get out of a 9 with one of the counters. We can get out of the 10 with another one of the counters and a 1k, and 12 can go through no problem. So we're actually in a very good spot here, thanks to the coffin ship setting a Dawn active at the end. So it looks like our opponent is going for that line, 9, 10 and 12, and we will give them the counter first. There's no point in trying to bait them into swinging bigger, because we would not be able to counter an all-in from Boar Hancock. Our opponent uses the Newgate here and decides to swing 10 into her life. We take that at the end just to see what we can draw, because we realise next turn we'll be going for game, and we had counter for it anyway, but I mean, look what we pull into at the end. We get a 3 sword style event, and we're able to rest their Dawn and their Newgate, so they have no blocker up, and they're 6k, and we have 10 Dawn to swing with a 10k, 11k and 11k body. So it was looking tough for our opponent. We were able to control them very well, and we played into the end game quite well. Also, our hand wasn't so strong at the beginning because it was pretty bricked up outside of events, but we pulled through. Let's go into the next game now. We're playing against Green Purple Luffy, who is one of the better Luna users in this meta, which is why it has seen a resurgence. Also, it gets a lot of use out of Mamaragan, which is an excellent counter event. And talking about that, it also has Gum Gum Giant, which is one of the best events in the game, of course. Pretty much can be a 6k leader throughout the whole game because Sanjian Pudding is so relevant. Our opponent swings 5 into us, we take the first hit, expecting them then to swing 5 with their Nami, and we have counter for that, so we counter that one easily enough. There isn't much for us to do this turn, so we choose to swing 5 first and see what they do with that, and we swing 6 then with our body afterwards. So it seems like neither of us have really strong plays in the early game, but we are actually looking quite good for the late game. We have a Shanks and 2 long Beppos. We also have this Tashigi, which we do want to get out, and we are quite keen on doing that. So I believe we will do so. Just the sequencing that we're going to be doing it is different now that we pulled into this bounce law. This law is extremely strong. When you're at 1 life, it turns into a blocker. What it does on plays, it bounces a body back to hand and allows you to play out a 5 cost, giving you 11 down of value, and the cards that you do bounce back to hand are quite strong, like Searchers or 2Ks. We chose to bounce the Searcher back to hand there. Our opponent on their turn now plays out a Sanjian Pudding and uses their leader ability and chooses not to swing with the Zoro, which is probably so the body doesn't go down, which I do understand, to be fair. And rather than swinging bigger with the leader, they choose to play 2 Sanjian Puddings in 1 turn, which is very strong for them for their late game, but also they have to consider that they have lost a bit of aggression there, where they could have actually kind of gone in on us. Now there was a temptation there from us to play out the Perona, freeze both our Sanjian Puddings and swing a bit larger, but we chose instead to go and use the Shanks and get a bigger body on the board. Also getting that -1 power effect will come into the later stage of the game more and more, especially that we know Green Purple Luffy doesn't run huge big boss monsters, so having -1k across the whole board that usually goes wide will work out for us in the end. Let's see what our opponent does. They attach a Dawn to their Zoro to make it 6 and swings into us. They hit us with a big Luna, which is sad to see, of course, and swing 6 with their leader. We give them a 2k for that. Our hand is quite bricky at the moment, so we take the next swing from their Sanjian Pudding and use a Law and Beppo. Our board has been frozen quite well, so there isn't much for us to do. We choose to rest the 2k counter that stands back up at the end, just in case they go into our Law and Beppo. Really, it's much of a muchness, it didn't matter all that much. We have the option here to either freeze their bodies with the Supernova event or to go and swing into their Zoro. We chose the Zoro. The reason for that is being a 7k leader, having 2 2, 5 and 8k counter in hand with 1 life, we're pretty confident that we'd be able to survive, especially that there's a -1k across the board. Now it seems that our opponent is fishing for a Brook and they don't actually have one, which is fortunate for us. However, they do have the Baby Luna effect, so they're able to freeze our Tashigi and our Shanks, which is very good for them, not good for us. You know the story. They swing 6 into our bounce law and we give them that, and they pass the turn, leaving their Sanjin pudding standing. They don't want their Sanjin puddings to be frozen, I guess, which is why they kept it down. We have the temptation here to use the long Beppo and freeze that double attack again. It would be a good turn, and so we would consider it, but the double attack isn't all that relevant anymore, so we choose to swing into it instead. It's their only rested body, so we might as well give it a go and try and remove it. Our opponent uses a Gum Gum Giant there, trashes Brick from hand and gives us a 2k. Them giving us a 2k is actually a good sign to us that maybe they don't have a great turn to do. We use the Perona and we search out this 4k event, so our hand is actually fairly strong at the moment. We play out the Bounce Law into the Perona, and the Perona freezes those 2 Sanji, so look, it came into play at the end. In case you were thinking that at the start we made a misplay, it did actually come in use, very much so at the end. Our opponent 100% wants to use a Brook. If they have it, that is the card they want to use to be able to rest their blocker and swing big into us. If they get that off, then I don't know how it would work with math, but our hand has 14k counter, so I think we'd be fine, to be honest. But you'd never know. Brook is a really strong combo piece for Green Purple Luffy. They swing 8 into us, and we are considering what to do here. We are fairly keen on them swinging big into us in every capacity. We get the Luna off life and we choose to rest one of their swingers, which is a very good turn actually. They swing 8 into our 6 and we are going to give them a 4k counter because we do want to leave the freeze up. And now I think it's about time that we do go for game. We'll poke first with either the Shanks or the Long Beppo. We're just thinking about how it works out with numbers first. Rather than going Long Beppo, we spoke with the 6 first because we want to see what counter our opponent has. They take the 6, so we're guessing that they are either extremely bricked up or else they only have counter events. The 11k showed us that they only really have counter events, and when our opponent concedes, we see that they do have a strong hand for counter, but unfortunately for them, it is just events, totally bricked up, so they're not able to counter out effectively, I guess, to smaller swings, and our board is so wide that we'd actually be able to quite easily swing and pepper them down that sort of way. That's why the 6 is a very good probing swing for the start. Let's go into our last matchup of this video against everyone's favorite leader to play against. It is Blue Yellow Nami. A very strong leader in this meta, of course. We are lucky here, our opponent doesn't see the girl on curve, and we take that as a sign that we could be onto something. Our first turn we swung 8 into them and they took, so our opponent is on 3 life now, and we swung 5 there and they trashed the Nami. We presume that they have another Nami in hand since they trashed it, and there you go, that's what they have. Unfortunately there we take 2 life in 1 turn, but oftentimes that happens when they play out the EBO3 Nami. What we do here now is we rest with the Shanks, play out the Coffin Ship, play out another Coffin Ship just to draw and draw, and with the Tashigi now we are deciding how we want to swing. I think it's best to rest the event, rest the Dawn, and swing 8 into their Nami, which is 6. The reason for this, my biggest fear when I swing into Nami is that they will use a Borsalino and heal back a life and get a blocker. However, they used a Zeus there and KO'd their Tashigi, so maybe it was actually not wise to swing into it. However, they did take a life, which is good for us. That being said, on their next turn they play out the Robin, attach it onto their leader, swing 6 into us and gain a life with the Robin. It is now our 8th on turn, I believe. We could use a Tashigi here to protect. We're just considering on what point of like what we actually have to do. So the Tashigi there was just fodder for us to be able to play out our carrot, of course. We couldn't go about bouncing the shanks back to hand. It just wouldn't have been good for us. We swing 7 into their leader. They give us leader ability and a 1k, and we swing 9 into them with the shanks, which they take. When they take, they trigger out a hogback, and with their hogback now they are poking once. They get 7k into us there. We'll see how we react to this. It is possible that we use a 2 and a 1, which is what we will actually do in the end. We give the Tashigi rather than using the Perona. In case they do get more bodies triggered out, the Perona becoming useful to be able to protect. We give them the 4k event now, and after they played out the Robin, they swung 7. We give them the 4k and they pass the turn to us. It's now our 10th on turn. We actually don't have very strong turn. We don't have much strong moves to do at the moment. So we play out the Perona and we are only able to freeze the hogback. However, playing out the Perona just allowed us to put a body on the board, and so we're happy for that all the same. Now we're just going to swing big. Our carrot is going to freeze their Robin, and the rest of our bodies are going to do work for us. We choose to swing 9 and 9. They trigger the Kikunojo, which is unfortunate, and we at the end, our opponent gets a Perona trigger also. So again, the shanks is coming in very useful. They swing 5 at us with the Kikunojo. They swing 7 at us with the Nami, and then they play out the Newgate to attach to Don. The whole time we are very conscious about them having the ability to. We're considering here whether we should protect the carrot or not. We're also counting up how many rested cards we have, and we don't have enough to give it 4k. So our opponent swings into it again and we have to let that go. However, the board looks very nice for Luna, and I have forgot what I was saying beforehand, so sorry about that. We now are in a spot where a Luna is pretty good, and if we can keep the law up, then we're in a very good spot as well. I think the best turn for us is to just go for game here. It may be a bit risky, of course, but being able to rest a Newgate is very strong. Now we're just counting up what Dande have. It looks like a 7. 7 is a good number because you can get 2 cards out of their hand. There they are. You've seen our opponent has perfect counter for that, so now we go for 8. We're asking for 2 cards out of hand again. And if our opponent takes, we're looking good. And if they don't take, I think we're still looking good because we can attach 9 here, which is guaranteed, and this 10. This was the biggest fair, okay? If they had a Zoro and trash, they would have on the Gecko Moria trigger, been able to trigger out a Zoro, spawn that and gain a life back. However, they didn't have that. They triggered out a Perona, but our body was it cost too much to be able to be frozen by Perona, which is half the reason we swung with the others initially at the start. This is a sort of post-editing game. I forgot that my opponent actually asked us to run it back, and I only noticed when I had finished the video, so I'm just going to put this in afterwards and do a little commentary here. Our opponent was really cool, and it's always great to play up against an opponent that knows their deck. And our opponent, you can see on this turn, and this time around finds kind of exactly what they want. They have the Zoro and trash, so I'm ready to be afraid, and they have a Perona set up as well. They also found a girl on curve, so they swing 7 into us on the second turn, and we take. We don't have anything to do on our second turn except swing big, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Our opponent thinks on this for a second. The reason I imagine is that they'd like to set up their trash, but as we already found out, our opponent had a Perona lying there waiting, so their Kumachi triggers out that Perona, and they get a really, really nasty turn there where they take 3 life off us. And at this point, we were just ready to say GG's. We bounce back the 2k into hand because clearly we're going to have to be defensive this game. We rest. I'm just laughing at our opponent. He's funny in the chat. We rest the Perona to active 3 Dawn. We freeze the Perona with our carrot. Swing 7 into their life. They take, but they heal next turn. They definitely want this carrot gone, but we can't let it go. Absolutely not. It's just too valuable for us here on the board at the moment. So we are not going to entertain the thought of letting it go at all. Now we have an option here on whether we want to use the Supernova event to freeze 2 of their bodies, or we can just raw use the carrot to freeze 1 of their bodies. It is a bit of a decision, and it doesn't seem like a big one, but it is one. And we choose instead to just let the carrot rock swing into the Perona and freeze the Nami, which I think is very correct to do there. To remove 1 of their swingers. Of course they're going to swing 8 next turn, but we have counter now that's up. You see we make a misplay, sorry about that. We give a 3k counter that is only for leader, which is unfortunate. We'll see how we can react afterwards, because obviously that was a biggie, big bit of a misplay there for us. Now we're debating, so if we want to rest Dawn for the Tashigi swing, we won't have Dawn available to be able to use the Supernova event, and we really do want to use that event, so we are going to swing 6 into their life and prompt them then to use leader ability, become 7k, and then use get a trigger out for the Perona. They play out the Akos Moria and establish a onion on the top of their life. I keep forgetting why he's called Hogback. I just watched too much Abster TCG and he calls him an onion. We swing 7 into their life. We'll see what they do. Of course they want to take this because it is would allow them to trigger out a body, but they instead give us counter. They play over the girl with one of the characters that they triggered out, but we were able to rest it with the Luna because it comes out rested. So our opponent has a fully rested board now, and we are actually in a decent enough spot. We have 4 swingers on board and our opponent has 4 life. We are just thinking here on how we are going to survive the next turn. Being a 7k leader and all, we do have 1 blocker up, and we have the ability to swing into some of their bodies, definitely, but we instead go for life to see what they can trigger out. Not many of their triggers are scary to us, in all fairness. Our opponent makes a bit of a slip of a tongue there where they give us a Porcelino with leader ability and don't counter out. They pepper us first with a 9k. They could have the unblockable Sanji event, and here they are, and we do not have counter. GG's to our opponent. They had a very nice curve that game, and look what that is. It is the trilogy. Star Wars episode 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6, not 7, 8 and 9 coming up. 3 games with against UI Nami back to back, and you can see our opponent here has found a lovely curve for themselves, being able to play out the girl on their first turn. Our hand is looking pretty nice. We have the card for freeze, the Shigi to gain power, and the Shanks on a curve as well. We give the Shigi for counter because we definitely want the card there. I think one of the big misplays of our last game was actually letting that card go just by a total misplay of giving counter when it shouldn't have been given, so we've learned our lesson and that won't happen again. Our opponent makes an error on this game, so I think we're 1 for 1 on little mistakes we made. They try and trigger out the Kiku, although we don't have 3 life. They probably thought it was the other way around. Kiku no Hojo triggers out if your opponent has 3 life, not if you do. They swing 7 into us with rested Dawn from both of their Namis and a 7 with their Kiku, and we counter both of those because we've already taken a life. We'd rather not take another. We do not have a freeze, but we have a Luna. We can consider using it, though I think the best line here would be to freeze an individual character and swing into life. We do want to be aggressive here. We don't think we can be killed, or we can be knocked out, killed, beaten up next turn, because we have that 4k in hand, and it is 8 cards rested. You get 4k from that, and once we use it on, we have 8 cards rested. So that is very good for us. Our opponent swings all in into the shanks. We're able to take that. We're able to protect that, which is actually very fortunate for us. I think if our opponent did go into our life, we would have been able to protect anyway and probably go for game next, or we would maybe be forced to, or clear board, something like that. But it didn't come to that. They thought they could get the shanks off, but we were lucky enough that they couldn't. We swing 5 into their leader after establishing a Mihawk. And the Mihawk is really nice because, one, they can't swing with that body Kikunojo anymore, and with a card they can't swing with their Nami anymore. But what is really, really cool about it is that we can have a 2k power. Now, we just kind of figured out there that by using the shanks, we can rest their girl, and so we can KO the girl with our searcher. Now, it didn't really come into play there because they have the new gate for next turn to activate leader ability, but it is something good to know for you Mihawk players out there and Mihawk enjoyers. Our opponent swings 6 into our life, we can counter. They swing into our Perona with the hogback. We let that go, and now we are in a position here where we are considering on how we want this turn to go about next turn. I mean, a Luna will only freeze 4 bodies on their board, so they'd still have a 12k swing, which they could attach 10 to, so they'd have a 22k swing. And we have 3, 6, 8. Basically, we couldn't survive. So right now we are up against the wall, and we are really trying to guarantee lethal here. So we swing 9 with our leader first. We swing 9 with our carrot. Swing a 9 with the carrot and 9 with leader. It doesn't really make much of a difference. Probably a bit of a misplay at the start. Actually, we could have just attached 3 to carrot and swung 9 to have an extra Don standing. Just to kind of guarantee it a little bit more. Now we're considering whether we want to swing all in with Mihawk or whether we want to split, and we choose to split. It was a bit of a risk, alright, but it felt like they were all a bit risky. Now that was the end of the episode. I hope you enjoyed the Mihawk gameplay. It's later than I'm used to recording, so you're probably hearing me and I sound like that guy who paints with the ginger afro, like an ASMR or One Piece TCG video. I hope you enjoyed the content, the gameplay, rather than the commentary. And if you did, make sure to leave a like. And if you didn't, you can leave a comment and we can talk about it in the chat. I just want to improve, really, so anything you say is appreciated. Thanks so much to everyone for subscribing and following along so far. It's been a lot of fun for me. I'm posting daily, so I hope you guys appreciate that, and I hope you like the gameplay from today. So without talking too much, thanks very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye now.